I have another question for you. It doesn't pertain to wrestling. It actually pertains to the Sacramento Kings, and it doesn't necessarily pertain to this season. Because we were talking about we mentioned this with the Lakers, right? And mentioned this with Phoenix, how I think Phoenix is set up to be more dangerous next year. Like, I'm far more intrigued as to what Phoenix does next season than I am necessarily this year. The same to a certain degree is true for Los Angeles. I believe they added some good young pieces that it feels like they're so far behind right now, both injury wise and, both health wise and just record wise, they're not going to be able to keep up with. So you start thinking, okay, maybe the Lakers are in a good spot next year, or certainly a better spot than they're in right now. We're all enjoying the ride that the Kings are on, and we've got some more miles left on this. But have we started to think about what the next home run swing is for the Sacramento Kings yet? Because we could talk about the Mason Plumlees, and we could talk about acquiring the Josh Richardsons in free agency, or all of these other little guys. Come to all of these nice little additions. But does Monte need to make it? And there's obviously a huge Harrison Barnes question coming up this offseason. Does Monte need to start thinking about the next home run swing, assuming, of course, that he's not?
It absolutely should be. And really where that is going to come from, it really can only come from two places. That's the Harrison Barnes spot or the Kevin Herter spot. And the first thought would be it comes from the Harrison Barnes spot. Because Kevin, I think Kevin Herter is good enough as a starting two guard, especially if you upgrade the starting three spot. And also, I think there's outside of Bradley Beal, it feels like it'd be easier to like get a three, maybe. You're talking about Paul George. You're talking about a lot of people talking.
If the Clippers fall on their face, do you think that's a possibility?
Absolutely. I've heard that if it doesn't happen, they're going to look to break this thing up.
Like Larry O'Brien happen? Or
I think at least get to the finals.
Okay.
I don't know if getting to the conference finals is good enough.
Okay.
So they may be looking for that type of move. So I think that's where the two spots. Do you agree? Like, is that the two spots? Like, I can't see them. Well, they could look for a 4 and you move Keegan to 3. That still requires you to move on from Harrison, potentially.
I like, but you're probably not moving on from Harrison. I think at this point, you're either re-signing him, the Sacramento Kings, you're either re-signing him or you're losing him. I don't think there's a Dante DiVincenzo situation here where they let Harrison Barnes go. Like, I believe part of their strategy through this trade deadline was we want Harrison Barnes here moving forward.
I think so too.
And we have discussed regularly, I don't know how you upgrade that position, where that upgrade is. Tommy D says, I don't even hate this remark, Keegan's improvement might be the next home run swing. That might be where the next, because the home run swing is the Domantas Sabonis acquisition, right? The kind of the game changing move right there. That may very well be Keegan's development.
It very, very, very well could be. I just think about, and we compared this a number of different times. Think about Cleveland, and they were really good. They did some good things last year. They ran out of gas. Well, they got hurt a lot last year too, towards the end, which helped them
injuries,
run out of gas. And then they went and made that move. Now, the thing that made it easier for them is they didn't have to displace anybody that was already there. It was like Cedi Osman, or they just took Karis LeVert and moved him to the bench or something like that. I don't think Karis LeVert or Cedi Osman means to the Cavs what Harrison or Herter mean to the Kings. So it was easy. It was like we essentially have a open hole. Let's go get Donovan and fill that void, and those other two just slide back to the bench. In this particular case, like you just said, if you try to get an upgrade for Harrison Barnes, that means Harrison's probably gone. He's not still on the team and sliding to the bench like Harris LeVert or Cedi Osman. He's probably moved on. And you have to make sure that who you get is a bigger deal or better than Harrison Barnes. And I think this offseason is the time to look, though. It's time to fish around, see who potentially is out there. Like I said, Paul George, I don't know what that would cost you, but Paul George is somebody that
you
would be
really love Paul George.
I do. His injury stuff concerns me.
You're like Kenya Barris. I'm gonna get you a Paul George jersey.
I'm okay with that. I like Paul George. PG. But his injury stuff is what concerns me the most, not his game or what he could be. It's just how healthy can he stay throughout a year. So,
how old is Paul George now? Do you know off the top of your head?
It's got to be, I would guess 31. That would be my guess.
Isn't that funny? Wouldn't that make him older than Harrison Barnes, or maybe the same age?
Yeah. He'll be 33 in May.
33. Ooh-wee.
May 2nd. I'm almost certain that's The Rock's birthday. I'm almost certain The Rock and Paul George share a birthday. Yeah, my useless knowledge is really paying off. You know how I remember it? This Is Your Life. Remember when they sang Happy Birthday?
Was that his actual birthday?
No, they're singing. The crowd is singing Happy Birthday. And he says, to the people, naturally, The Rock is grateful. But to you, The Rock's birthday is May 2nd, you stupid son of a bitch. Can we also point out that segment's terrible?
It's awful.
It is just dreadfully
bad. A lot of good segments from that Rock era. It just isn't.
That segment is so bad, and it's remembered like so fondly. And go watch it at 4:00. It's not good. It is so painfully long.
It's super long.
The names that Mick Foley is calling out don't even match the names on the screen.
No.
It's just bad.
It's like 10 minutes too long.
At minimum, it's 10 minutes too long. It might be like 15 minutes too long.